Massive increase in interest in politics and also in religion, which seems to really cut in at 65 and on.
What's the typical retirement age in Australia?
Australia has the lowest participation rate of mature age workers in the developed world. So we retire very early. So this may not be reflected in other markets, because I know, for example, the participation rate of mature age workers in Australia is about 49%. In the States, it's 67%. In Europe, it's around that kind of order as well. So we are getting out of the workforce earlier here, and or going part-time or going contract or doing something like that. But yes, definitely, where that's enabling people to, I think, make these kinds of transitions. Perhaps in your market, this would be pushed out a little bit further. So, the people who are satisfied and happy, they're 71 years and older, are the most satisfied. They're fully retired. Yes, it does have something to do with wealth and owning their own house, to have had investment streams that come in, to be in better health, to be educated, to be married, to have no children left at home, thank God, by this age, and to have some grandchildren. The people who are dissatisfied is in that 50 to 54 age group, unemployed, and all these other kinds of issues. Divorce is a complete disaster for people, and ends them very quickly. So those correlations definitely exist, but they're not fundamentally. The most powerful driver is honestly this question here. It's when you look in the mirror, you get a shock because you're not meant to look like that. You think your memory tricks you. And what are they doing? Well, they're satisfied, and you know, this is obviously limited by what we've asked in our questionnaire, and you know, things could be improved here, but they want to get out and they're gardening, they'll start their gardens, they'll spend time out there, they'll spend time with their grandchildren, they want to travel around the country, they also want to still travel internationally, they exercise very regularly, if they smoke, they're likely to have cut down. They don't tend to worry about some of the concerns and issues, the social concerns and issues that we measured. They claim they'll still play for quality, and they rate service over price. So one of the interesting things we've been feeding back to our clients in their call centres is they want to talk to somebody. And the typical KPI, which is get them out quicker. People over 55, they want the extra few minutes to ask the questions, to be a considered buyer, and they want that. So again, very different way, and a huge proportion of them are looking to volunteer in charity work. It's also about giving back. So the happy people want to connect with the world, they want to save a life, they want to give something back, they want to learn, and they just want to suck as much out of life as you can. And interestingly, the dissatisfied are still got money issues, they want to keep working, they're feeling irrelevant in their job, they don't make the kinds of changes in their life that this group are doing. They're planning to lose weight, whereas this group has lost weight. They're planning to give up smoking. This group have done it. All of those kinds of things come into this group. These are the kinds of things, and I guess I've covered all of this already, really. But the fundamental issue is when we finally realise that we don't have all the time in the world, we see our priorities much more clearly. And this is one of the really big changes that suddenly happens. And people can start to go about their life in quite a different way. We have asked people about some of their concerns, so we looked at things like, will there be enough aged care facilities, even though I don't want to go and live in them. I'm still worried that there might not be, and some of these other things. The trend, though, if you look across, is that concern about these things diminishes over time for all of them, I think, bar one. Changes to the tax laws, they don't trust the government to stick to the plan. In Australia, we have an old age pension. Perhaps the government won't be able to afford that with all of these extra people in that cohort. So that's not something I can rely on. Maybe medical treatment will become an inaccessible. We have a universal healthcare system, but again, people are worried that it's under pressure, and maybe they won't get there. Maybe they won't have enough money. But it's interesting, once you get over 65 and you're genuinely out of the workforce, most people seem to come to an accommodation. Whether I'm rich or poor, it's what I've got. So I'll find a way to work to that arrangement. People worry about the future of their children. And this was one we kind of expected that as you to end up in single-person households, that perhaps you wouldn't eat as well. You might just make yourself a toasted sandwich and that'll be, there's no point cooking. But it didn't seem to play out in the results. They all thought they were eating fine. I'm not going to go through all of these, but I just thought it was the kinds of things that areas where there could be consumption that would be of interest. People said that they're going to do a lot more reading. So all the little Kindles and things like that are going through the roof in Australia. They want to spend more time with their grandchildren. They want to travel around Australia and see the countryside. A lot of them want to get fit and exercise. That's a crucial thing. Huge proportion want to learn how to make use of computers. There's a real openness to that. Everyone wants to lose weight, of course. See a few more movies and get around Australia by air. And all of those things are reflecting those things we're talking about connection, giving, etc., etc. Just a few random things we pulled out. They're pretty interested in comfort. So things like their entertainment, their plasma streams, their air conditioning. 71% of them said, I just want a mobile phone that I can call people with. So that's, I think there is a market out there somewhere for I just want something to call. I don't need all of the smartphone bits and pieces. Really up on VoIP, travelling around, so they want their portable DVD. Very interested in renewable energy, so sustainable energy. So a lot of people at that point where they retire, there's a huge opportunity there where they try to kind of budget-proof the rest of their life. So in Australia, there's a lot of solar panels going in. At that point, they'll insulate their house. They'll do a lot of those kind of one-off investments that are likely to reduce their electricity bill in an ongoing way. So kind of a lot of that thing. They're interested in security systems and their own security, and to drought-proof it. In terms of our media, I probably won't go through that, but there was one thing that came through really powerfully. They were incredibly interested in getting direct communication from organisations that they perceive they have a relationship with. So they really wanted to be marketed to directly about stuff that matters to them. And that's how they prefer to find out about it. They don't want to go hunting. Where there is a relationship, then email me. Tell me what's up, tell me what's going on. They're using quite a lot of text messaging now. There's huge growth in social networking. I'm not sure where the free phone came from. That chart looks like it's been doctored to me. But what are they consuming? TV documentaries is at the top of their list. So they're spending time curious about the world, just fascinated by it. So as you go into your later years, just chewing up that kind of thing. They really want email alerts, listen to the radio, they do surf the net, and they do still go out shopping and getting the brochures and coming home and reading them, and they've got time to do it. So they'll do that kind of thing. The things that they weren't interested in, they're really not interested in TV advertising, but they want an email to come to them saying this is something that might interest you. They're not spending a lot of time on blogs or social networking sites, podcasts, Twitter, and they hate using those interactive phone systems where you have to push the buttons. 54% of them have tried to lose weight or have lost weight. 62% have cut down or stopped smoking. So there's a lot of dramatic change happening in the way that they live. You suddenly have time to think, well, I want to, if I'm supposed to live till I'm 80, but that's not necessarily a given. I have to do something to try and make that work. So they'll spend time doing all of that, cut down drinking tea and coffee as well. We looked at consumptions around insurance and holidays and a few other items, just to give you a feel for what's in there. How they shop for groceries, do they use shopping lists, and we did a retail